So I'm freaking out right now. It's this is crazy. Um, so I had just finished meditating, and I'm not going to tell you what happened, but this time somebody that being said a name, and it was very. It was a. I'm not going to spoil it. So it was very authoritative. It was a very distinct, very powerful energy. Do you know that I had it's called Gaia TV. It's where you can watch like spiritual and stuff and everything. So I was watching, and it was actually in the background. I was uploading this to my computer, so I wasn't even here, but it was on. But it was the Gaia TV was on uh, uh, lost symbols. So it's an expert that decodes like what these symbols are and stuff. He's legit. Do you know that that guy said the name that was I was saying in the meditation, and he said that person's name and who he was, and that caught, and I recorded it, so I'll let you know, but I'm not going to spoil. But I just have to give you a heads up. All right, so stay tuned.
Today, Zeus gives us our word for God, Theos in Latin. And so Theos is Latin as God. It's taken from the name of Zeus. And they even have a canal called the Suez Canal, which is Zeus spelled backwards.
Ah, uh, the Puirinia. Pauniaina. I Ilaimai. I Ilaimai. Ilaimai. Sili. Silia Uri. Maina. Maina Nina. Inakuai. Inakuai. Isai na urinai. Inaki Ayuri. Ah. Ina. We have come here. Holy cow. So, this is the first time I'm hearing this recording. Just so you know, I didn't change the volume. That is the energy being. We have been here to make a shift on your planet. We are your ancestors. of old. We are Theos, the rightful heir. We come from a very distinguished lineage. There's power behind our lineage. We are very proud of our lineage. Be proud of your lineage. Your ancestors and the people that came before them is a host of your lineage to be proud of. Be proud. If we are all one, this also means you hold the essence of the lineage of Theos. Be proud. Know that you are royalty. Walk in the royalness of your heritage and blood. It runs through your very veins. Be proud. Be proud of who you are and everything that it took for you getting here. You had an agreement, a soul agreement with us. You had agreed to come on this earth, to have these experiences. And for those of you that are here on this earth having these experiences, it takes a special kind of a being to agree to live on this earth and to express yourself in human form. Your animals cannot express themselves in the way humans can because of consciousness. You had agreed to feel everything, and it takes a very special being to agree to be on this earth, to have these different experiences. It is like royalty agreeing to give up all his rightful heir to have the experience of experiencing being a normal human being without royalty. This is the equivalent. Being human has its limitations. You all knew what you were getting into before you became humans. And those limitations are what you call the ego. Ego thinks it's separate. Me, mine, they, theirs. Separate. And many of you are lost in that separateness. We have come to set you all free and walk in that light of your righteousness, in the rightful heir of Theos. So many things about this world you have yet to comprehend. It is only because of the narrowness of the lens in which you are looking at it. The narrowness of your lens is what you've experienced. A wise man would say, the more I know, the more I realize I don't know. This is wise. The fool will express in words and boast about being smart and knowing what he knows. The fool expresses what he knows. The wise man sits in silence and is an observer. Do not go by your experience. When you do this, that narrows and limits you, and there's limitations in this. You are operating from matter rather than quantum physics. Quantum, the realm and the spaciousness of expansion, and in the realm of possibilities. What we mean normally, your wishes and desires is equivalent to what you have gotten. This is operating from the unconscious mind. You wished for X, Y, and Z. You wished for something and you didn't get it. And equally to this, later you wished for that and you do get it. So now there's a barometer between what you have not gotten and what you have gotten. And these experiences you have sets up the unconscious mind to it's a automatic. Just imagine it being a credit card with $1,000 limit. There's a limit. You get a credit card and it's maxed out at $1,000. And you say, well, because there's a, you don't know. There's $1,000 and you do not even know that there is $1 billion. There is such a thing as $1 billion. You do not know this because you've got a credit card with only $1,000. $1,000 is equivalent to the dreams that you have had. And if it's maxed out as you've only had $1,000, well, then your wishes and desires that exceed 2,000, naturally it will get declined. If you purchase a car that is $2,000 or a shirt that's $2,000, it automatically will be declined. Meaning, if you have a bigger desires and a wish and want, and let's say you want a penthouse in Soho and you live in the Bronx, the card will get declined. That wish, because it is exceeding, it maxed out, it does not fit the credit card of your dream. And these were all obtained when you were when you were a child. We had spoke to Linda about the subject we are going to mention now, and about the Akashic records. You all came here on this earth to have an experience. You did not choose your parents. In essence, you actually chose to have the experience. It is in that experience in which you agreed to cultivate a skill set that will enhance you to your purpose in life. Linda was made to be a teacher and to share our message on a global scale. Now that entails quite a bit of skill set to be able to talk to not just one person, but to influence humanity on a global scale. That takes a skill set. You see, you understand. You cannot just go up and not have your 2 feet on the ground. Someone who climbs a ladder or climbs down a ladder, both are equally unstable. Why? Doesn't matter if they're going up or down. They do not have their 2 feet on the ground. You got to know who you are. Because if you go in and talk to the masses, they will eat you alive. You all are dealing with people that are experts. You will say there is no evil, but the evilness that you conjure in your mind. But we will say there are experts at be very convincing in their words. No one can manipulate you, but we do want to say they can very well influence you. And when you're dealing with this on a global and mass scale, it is a very different experience. It's like you're dealing with the pros. That is exactly what it is. The mass people, the human being are there. You're not. It's analogous to bodybuilding, when Linda did nationals and she turned professional in bodybuilding, now when she got into body, it was a whole different, it did not even compare to nationals. That is what we're saying. When you deal, this is something that is coming up now. When you deal with the lower class, meaning the education and all this such, and then you get up to the politics and different. Each one has its own class, and the combination of the political and the alliances that they have with the rules and regulations that they have with their education, it's very different than people around the block. Nationally, it's very different. It is how you use what you know and what you have. You can use it in service of others, or you can use it as a way to control and have power over others and control by knowing certain things and using that to your advantage. We see this a lot, and some of you fall right into it because you do not know, you do not have your feet on the ground. If you get things too soon, it won't work. This is why some people you see now win $1 million in the jackpot, and what do? They end up being in the same place as they were when they had the $1 million. Why? Because it's has nothing to do with the gimmicks and something happened to them. No. Your vibration is where you last left it. And if you won the $1 million from a jackpot but you have not changed your mindset, gained certain skill set, took the education and didn't, if you don't do the work within yourself, you will end up vibrationally the same place. And money and finances always show it. It's just a form of energy. It's a very touchy subject even for Linda. But always having these issues around finances, and you have to take a look at this. And she had just realized, which set her free, and this will set you free. It is coming back to the Akashic, and with the agreement that you have made, the agreement that you all have made, we want to emphasize you had made to have the agreement, to have the experience. Linda had came on this earth to have the injustice done to her. She is the essence of Chiron. Very, very similar. He was a centaur and half man, half horse. She had two very different nations tied into one makeup, which she was an outcast, just as Kyron. She chose this injustice to be the bridge, to pave the way to set humanity free like Kyron did. He needed to have these parents be an outcast at a very young age because he paved his own way, and this is how he became who he is today. Linda had the very same experience, injustice, and had a lot of things happen to her at a very young age, which, if that did not happen, she would not be the person and is continue to become the person she is today. We also expressed to her that just as well as you made the agreement to come here on this earth to have a certain experience for a certain skill set, to refine and cultivate the skill set for this, for your ultimate destination, you also received, and this is where your parents came in because they fit what you needed to learn in this skill set. And just as you received their parents, the agreement was made, this also came with their own information downloaded into you. And this is the missing piece that all of you have forgotten. And you walk around struggling for money, broke, and having issues around relationships, thinking that it was you and your past. And this is where she comes in and sets you free. That it sets you free. And you want the agreement, but you don't want to do what it takes to cultivate that skill set. Skill sets are only cultivated and learned by repetition. That is the only way that the subconscious mind learns, by repetition. That's how beliefs are formed, by repetition of a certain thought, which now becomes a belief. Not dealt with that emotion, then it becomes a mood set and attitude. It's a mood. And then it becomes this is his character, this is his personality. You let the emotion turn into a person, you let it solidify long enough that now it becomes your personality. Undealt with emotion. Do not take the easy way out. You pay the you're paying the consequences, some of you now. A great deal of it. You put in the work, and we are not talking about physical labor. We're talking about investing in you by going inward, and you start to really get honest with yourself, and you ask that question. We are not asking you to believe us. All we are asking you is to ask this question: What is it in my areas of life of finances, my health, well-being, my relationships? What areas in my life that takes extra effort for me to put in to make it happen? It does not come easy. Then if it is the area of school and education, maybe some of you don't want to go to, you avoid it. This was also Linda's case. Her mother grew up not even going to school. Her parents died at a very young age, and she had to survive at the age of 6 or 7, rather, very young, taking care of her brothers and sisters in Korea. Her mother being very smart and bright, her father being bright as well. But her mother had no education. It fits the pattern. Until you fix yourself, and by fixing yourself, she physically had told herself, I am smart. I know I can do it. It's an auto-suggestion, what you tell yourself. You tell yourself different than what you are acting now. That is the work. And we are not going to tell you, oh, think of it, and it will be gone tomorrow. No. You are going to mess up. You're going to get it and you're going to mess up. But that is what life is about. But we will say the time frame in which you get it will become shorter, meaning it takes you 15 minutes to get it instead of half an hour. And each time you will get better and better, shorter and shorter. But it never goes away. And so, fast forward, Linda now has a master's degree of science in acupuncture. Never would have guessed to be a doctor in Chinese medicine. That's very inspiring. Inspire means it motivates you on the inside. Being inspired on the motivation is different. Motivation is being motivated after you see a commercial about something. They're programming you. It's all programmed in auto suggestions. They're auto feeds, subliminal messages. We would say they're subliminal messages. You see a commercial and all of a sudden you want something rather that happens to be exactly these are all subliminal messages. Motivation is done subliminally, and we're all manipulating each other. Inspiration comes from the inside. If just as this education example, this will inspire people, and it has. When she went back to school, it inspired some of the human beings that worked with her as a trainer. One being, we say, actually went to the Swedish Institute, the same school that she did. That's inspiration. It inspires you to recognize the you-ness of you, of who you are. It has you say to yourself, wait, if she could, I can do it too. The I can do it too, that's the expansion. That's you recognizing the you that you are. Motivation only is a very short-lived. And so in the regard of finances and relationships, it is also in regards to you giving this to yourself first. What we mean by this if Linda had the struggling with finances and the area of relationships, most of you would go out and try to be nicer and get friends. No. Or you would set yourself up on the Match.com. That is also not it. Or you get 2 jobs to be able to increase your income. Or you scale back and you scrimp and you save. No. And here's the golden nugget. You see how you do these things. It is in giving to the self first is how you operate your life. Your life is what you're getting back is just a reflection of how you are living your life with you. And she was being cheap with herself. How does this look? She was seeing the scarcity of what she didn't have. She didn't have, can't afford this, didn't have this, finances, and just struggling with this, had the dollars checking her the account. This is a very touchy subject for her, and really, it's not really now. It's surprising to her, actually, because the veil has lifted. And it is only, abundance can only come and your finances can only change when you change the feeling behind what money represents. Meaning money is not the dollars that you want, it's the feeling behind the dollars that you want. So it's the feeling of freedom, it's the feeling of flexibility. It is the feeling of kindness. Aren't you more kind when you are abundant, when you have money? Yes, you are more kind. You're more generous. And she wasn't kind to herself. She didn't praise for the things that she had, meaning she didn't acknowledge it. She didn't feel free. It's so simple as that. It's the freedom. So when she realized this, it's the feeling of freedom that she is searching for. It's the freedom of flexibility she's looking for. So then the next question is, what can I do that can make me feel free? Well, I can walk in the park and I can feel free that way. I could I have the flexibility of working out when I want to. You feel flexible in this way. The universe cannot compute the item now being the dollars. It knows and it just computes what you're feeling. So the universe is now saying, "Oh wow, she's feeling free. She's feeling a sense of freedom. She's kinder to herself. She's giving more compliments. Oh, she's has flexibility." And the universe rewards you with more of that. And it's the area of relation as well. You want love, you want attention, but you all get it from out there. Thus, you have failed marriages. It's insurmountable how the failed marriages you have, because it's your own relationship to the self that's failed. It's never failed. We just want to move a point, and it is one of Linda's big one was, well, I want to meet someone and then have a partner that is going to value me. Now Linda knows too much in order to put that one out there and not have us tell her. We immediately told her and she heard us. Yeah. If you want to attract someone that values you, you first have to value yourself. And you're not valuing yourself. You put yourself down all the time. So naturally, you're going to attract someone that puts you down and disrespects you. Don't disrespect me. Don't you hear this all the time? Don't disrespect me. Don't. Why not? You do it to yourself all the time. You're just getting back what you're giving to yourself. We heard a friend yesterday say, we were talking about this. He had said, I was talking to a friend and she said something very different that I've never heard before. And I said, what was that? And he said, she said she wanted consistency. And so, eager little Linda as she was, it wasn't devious of nature, but she did want to share this little golden nugget she learned from us, and quite simply said, well, she wants the things that she is not getting in her personal life. That's what opposition is. We all want something that we crave. But we all want something that we are not. And to fill the gaps, we choose that quality in another. So if she wants someone who is consistent, she first has to be consistent with her life and the way she is leading it. It is probably sporadic and everywhere. Otherwise, she wouldn't want consistency, you see? Consistency means consistency. That's why the saying goes, the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. Linda will also add in, the fat keep getting fatter and the fit keeps getting fitter. This is a very comical joke, but nonetheless, I'm not laughing. We are not making, because there is truth. Birds of a feather flock together. You all hear this is true. But truth only, this is not true. Truth is only something that's been experienced and is your truth, your version of the truth, because you've had an experience to validate your truth. So therefore you say it's true. It's your truth. This whole world, this universe was one big consciousness, and it was formed based on the human beings being in this earth to have consciousness and to make choices and expand. This is how the world, your world, was created. It's in the choices. We share this openly. Most of you want to hide this part of yourself for fear of looking bad or looking a certain way. The more you hide something, the more you identify yourself with what you are hiding. And most of these teachings and self-help books, you hear these sayings all the time, but never give practicality, never give practical, useful tools you can implement right now. The only way you do this is if someone had gone through it and it's experienced it. It is only by experience that you can actually cultivate the skill set, thus teaching whoever. I mean, Linda is by no means a millionaire now, but she is well on her way. She is abundant now because it's in the mindset. And the golden nugget of the friend reminded her of gifts she's receiving every day. You can start being abundant now. You have abundant amount of air you're breathing, friendships you talk to. You live in abundance of freedom, having the freedom of, this is all things you can start being free, financially free now. And she had also received an email from the school, the student loan, saying that the whole money that she had owed, which was $140,000 or $50,000, was paid off. Yes, this is what the feeling of abundance will do. It gives you unexpected emails saying the $150,000 was paid off. Now, Linda didn't do nothing and twiddled her thumbs. She was guided into this forgiveness program, and she now is paying off half of what she will owe, and she is not in debt anymore. The money is not accruing interest anymore. Her ratings of her, the score ratings isn't going down because of the interest, and it just all works out. And it doesn't happen by doing. It happens in the state of mind that you're thinking. Am I feeling free, or am I feeling bound and choked by all these bills? Let me get a third job. That's not how it works. You're just going to die a lot quicker. You're taking your life force a lot quicker. We are using Linda deepest secrets, even though it's not a secret she openly tells, but it is a very sensitive subject nonetheless. Practicality, practical ways that you are able to utilize what's worked for her. She cannot have given you the example. We would not be speaking through her if she did not go through this and learn this skill set. It's a very important skill set. It's the way you feel. And Linda has proof. You all want proof, and she is the number one person that she wants proof. Under the dictionary, proof is you'll see her picture. That is your proof. She said, if anybody is like me, they would want proof. We are giving you proof. It's her. She struggled a great deal with finances and relationships. And she took a look at her mother, and it was not a hair different, exactly the same. And then the veil unlifted, and the shackles that chained her down, that bounded her, was free. That is freedom. Now you can start to live your life and not someone else's, like a centron. This is the most precious gift that's available to any and all who will hear it for free. And as you continue, we told her this and reminded her to utilize your gifts to serve humanity. And when you serve humanity, when you give in this way, the angels and the universe will reward you unboundedly. You cannot imagine what will come back to you. You don't worry about that. We want you to focus your energy on maximizing ways by using media, by using your technology and your gifts and the skill set to maximize how you can serve humanity, being of service. You just focus on that, and we promise you we will take care of the rest. We've never let her down, and the gifts that she has been receiving far exceeded her own expectation that she couldn't even imagine. And we say the same thing to you. Abide by your contract and learn the skill sets, my dear fellow friends, comrades, brothers and sisters. mother's daughters. Fulfill your agreement here on this earth and never forget and lose sight that you chose to come here to have this experience. You can only choose to have this experience by being of high authority, by being royalty. You have a royal lineage behind you that supports you in this. Never forget this, who you are. You are supported. You have the legions of forces behind you. This is how powerful and important you are. It is time to take the veil off and to step out of Centron and step in and fulfill your conquest. Be at peace with the love of